Doc, obviously we got the news about Joel, and the statement from the team said that he's day-to-day. Do you expect that you're going to get Joel back here at some point?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't know when, John, or at least I'm hopeful. I think that'd be a better way of putting it. He's going to do his treatment, and we're going to assess the day-to-day and see where we can get him.
How much do you feel for him after he accepted your challenge in the offseason, got in really good shape, and he's dealing with another injury now?
Yeah, it's tough because he's done such a great job. And if you look at his body right now, he couldn't be in better shape. I mean, you see the tone, you see it, you see the play. For this to happen at this point, going through the whole year, is really difficult. But, he's hanging in there. Our job is to keep his spirits up and keep pushing him to get ready.
Thank you.
Next, we will go to Kai Carlin.
Hey, Coach. Just asking, I wanted to know, if you've talked to Joel recently, how his spirits are, or things like that. Have you been able to talk to him?
Yeah, we've talked a couple of times. He's what you think he would be. He's a competitor. The fact that he's not playing tonight or whenever he can play, it bothers him. So he's really not in a great place that way. But he's good. He'll be fine.
And then also, I thought I'd ask, do you know who you're going to start tonight in place of Joel yet? Or
absolutely no.
Who will it be?
No, that's the answer. I know.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. Thanks, Coach.
Next question will go to Mark Narducci.
Doc, off the Joel topic for a second. Danny Ainge resigned today at Boston. Yeah. He brought you there. Could you just talk about what he's meant to your career?
Well, it means the world. I mean, I did a pretty good job in Orlando, good enough to get fired, at the end of it. But, John Gabriel took a chance on me. And then literally within a week of me getting fired, Danny Ainge is the guy to call. It was in the middle of that season, and they had an interim coach at the time. And, that's a long story. But at the end of the day, he just said, "You're the guy." He believed in me. Listen, we had the worst stretch. Those first year was good. We actually won our division. But we decided to go in another direction. And, people don't really realize how hard that is for 2 years trying to rebuild, getting booed, getting, your team just getting mauled every night. But the plan, but the plan hadn't manifested itself. And you have to go through that. I mean, Brett had to go through that. For years. And the fact that Danny just maintained every day, he would come in and say, "I'm sorry to me. We're going to get this right. I promise you. Don't leave." He would say, he was just, he was as good as you can have to work for because, he was on the bench before, I guess, for a short time in Phoenix. He understood that. He was a gambler, man. I loved it. He would take some chances. There were times where we disagreed completely on things, but I trusted him. I'd say, "Go for it, man. I can see you want to pull the trigger. Let's do it." Some of those worked out for us and some didn't. But, we made a pact that we'd leave together. And I told him, "What the heck is going on? This is not right." And so, I'm a little sad by it. But Danny's in a great place. I can tell you that. I talked to him today, and he's in a great place. So I'm happy for him. I really am.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Next, we'll go to Jeff Skversky.
Hey, Doc. Obviously, this team has championship aspirations. How much does, Joel getting hurt, do you think, change that and change expectations? And how do you manage that with your players going, okay, hey, our best guy just went down?
We have to win. We just focus on that. Again, the things that are far away, you can't focus on, Jeff. You have to focus on today and now. Our job is to win a game now at home. That's where our guy, obviously you don't have Joel. Obviously playing in a playoff game without Joel was not planned, but it's real. And so we have to deal with it. And everybody has to do their part, and no one has to feel like they have to do Joel's part. As long as we do that, we'll be fine.
And can I follow up when you say you're hopeful that he comes back? I mean, do you have the expectation because it's small and maybe a guy can gut through it that he could be back for let's say you play Atlanta next? Is there a thought that he can be back for that next series?
Jeff, I have no expectation other than I hope for him to be back. But I can't give you a timeline. I can't give you anything. right now. So I can just tell you he's willing to go through whatever it takes to get back on the floor. He's a warrior. And if there's a way for him to get back on the floor, he will find his way.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you.
Keith Pompey.
What's up, Doc? How you doing?
Good.
That's great. That's great. Doc, I know that the playoffs and the regular season is a completely different animal, but you guys did have some success during one stretch without Joel. How much do you talk to your players about that? You're saying, hey, look, we've been here before. I mean, hopefully we'll get them back, but as long as we do what we did before, we should be fine.
Yeah, I don't think I have to have that talk, Keith, because they know it. That was the point I was making in that stretch when we won those games without him, that this will pay dividends somewhere later. I honestly didn't think like this, but I did think there would be a game where Joel's in foul trouble, early or something like that. And we're going to have to, man up. And so the fact that we went out and won games on the road on a West Coast trip without Joel, it clearly helps our vision. Let me put it that way.
Mm-hmm. In regards, talking about tonight's game, when Joel went out, things were a little discombobulated.
Yeah.
Were there certain things that you saw watching video yesterday, tape today, that you guys need to rectify, things that you want to work on?
Yeah, we should not make bad defensive mistakes. We made a lot of we had a lot of self-inflicted wounds, and give Washington credit, they play well. But we did inflict pain that we didn't have to. Now obviously losing Joel on the fly is a lot harder, but some of these happen no matter who was on the floor. We didn't do the things we should have done defensively in that game to give us a chance to win the game.
All right, thanks, Doc.
Yeah.
Time for two more questions. We'll start with David Murphy.
Hey, Doc, if and when Joel returns, are you confident that he can be the kind of player that carries a team, 35 minutes a night and doing the things that you need him to do?
David, I honestly don't know the answer to that. I don't think we're going to put him out on the floor if we don't feel that. Let's put it that way, or at least feel like he can give us a pretty good effort. And we're not going to put him on the floor if we feel like he can injure himself, So I think that will be for another day. Hopefully I would love to be able to answer that. I can tell you that. I think that would make us all happy.
And can you think just off the top of your head any time in your career when you've had a situation like this and a guy needing to to kind of play through injury and
it's a difference between being injured and being hurt, so that's different. Yeah, but I've had a couple. This is nothing you want. I've had a couple. I had in a 3-minute period, Blake and Chris go out for the season in the middle of a playoff, and it was in 3 minutes stretch in the game. I also had Chris with the hamstring, where I was talking to him or his brother recently about it, and how I think we rested him the first 2 games of that Houston series and end up going 7. We lose the series, and we look back on that. That's a teacher for me. I always said, man, I wonder if we had arrested him 3 games, we'd have been ready better for the 7th. He played in the 7th, but he wasn't Chris Paul, and so those are the things that you live and you learn and you try to get back. And so hopefully we can make the right decision here.
Thanks.
One final question. We'll go to Chris Miller.
Hey, Doc, towards the end of Game 4, Korkmaz and also your rookie Maxey, I thought gave you really good quality minutes.
Yeah.
Do you think that carries over for a Game 5, especially with the full capacity of the crowd?
Yeah, I do. I think Max is just playing well in general. And I think Ferg needed to play well just for him, not for us. We believe in him. So, every game's a new game, Chris, but I'm hoping it carries over for him. Because when Ferg plays well, we're pretty good. It helps us.
Thanks, Doc.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, Coach.